Why do we seek out frightening experiences? The question of why humans are fascinated by frightening, disgusting, or otherwise disturbing things has puzzled philosophers, psychologists, and anthropologists for centuries. Why do we willingly engage with images and ideas that disturb us when we could be doing something else? Why do we pay to be scared half to death at a theme park ride or watch horror films that make us jump at every creak of the floorboards? This is especially confusing when we consider just how real some of these manufactured frights can feel. A roller coaster plunging into darkness, or a slasher film, a surprise attack, can trigger the same physical reactions as if we were running from a saber-toothed tiger or being chased through the jungle by a pride of lions. And those reactions, including increased heart rate, shallow breathing, and heightened state of alertness, are still driven by the same fight or flight instincts our distant ancestors relied on to survive. So why do we pay good money to deliberately put ourselves in situations where we might panic and run screaming in terror? And what does this say about our relationship with fear? To understand why we willingly seek out scary or dangerous activities, we first have to understand our evolutionary past. As human beings, we have an innate tendency to self-preserve, which manifests itself in many ways. But perhaps the most fundamental of these is the instinct to avoid pain and danger. In our prehistoric past, encountering a saber-toothed tiger was an actual life or death situation. Being chased by one meant a swift and brutal end, either by its claws or teeth or by our own exhaustion. So when faced with such a situation, our ancestors had to respond quickly and decisively. They had to fight the tiger, or they had to flee, hence the term fight or flight. This is still true today, although saber-toothed tigers no longer prowl the earth. We still get freaked out when we encounter something big and wild and powerful, whether it's a bear, a shark, or even a large dog. Because in our minds, we still associate these animals with the same danger our ancestors did. When we see a tiger in a zoo, our fight or flight response doesn't kick in because we know it's behind bars. But when we see a lion roaming free in the documentary, our bodies react as if we were back in the savannas of the Serengeti. Even though we know the lion can't get to us, we still get spooked. Our brain and body still think it can. But there's another aspect to this response. While fight or flight may seem like an instinctive reaction to immediate danger, there's also a cognitive component. That is, our brains can anticipate potential danger and activate the response accordingly. So if we see a lion in the wild, our brains can start freaking out long before the lion even knows we're there. It's this anticipation of danger that allows us to experience fear in a safe environment. For example, when we watch a horror movie, read a suspenseful book, or visit a haunted house, we know the monsters aren't real, but our brains still respond as if they were. This is because we've learned to associate certain things like dark forests, abandoned houses, and creepy clowns with danger. And when our brains anticipate a potential threat, they trigger the fight or flight response just as they would if the threat were real. In fact, some experts believe that this ability to experience fear in a safe environment is actually what gives us pleasure when we re-scared. It's a kind of evolutionary cheat code that allows us to test our survival mechanisms without actually being in danger. When we voluntarily seek out scary experiences, we're essentially allowing ourselves to be scared half to death knowing that we'll be okay. And this provides us with a unique kind of high. It's the same kind of pleasure we get from other intense experiences like roller coasters or skydiving. It's an exhilarating rush that comes from pushing ourselves to the edge and coming back. Some researchers have even suggested that this evolved as a way to assess risk more efficiently. By experiencing a small dose of fear, we can get a sense of how dangerous a situation might be without actually having to go through with it. For example, if you're scared of heights but want to climb a mountain, you could try climbing a smaller hill first. If you don't experience any fear, then you might be ready for the bigger challenge. If you do experience fear but it's manageable, then you might be able to prepare yourself mentally or physically to handle the bigger challenge. This is what some experts mean when they call fear a useful emotion. It allows us to predict how we might react in a dangerous situation without having to put ourselves in harm's way. And that's why we get a kick out of scary things. It's a chance to test our limits and see how much we can handle. But there's another explanation for why we're drawn to frightening experiences. Maybe it's not just about testing our limits, but also about expanding them. Think about it. When we face a scary situation and come out on top, so to speak, we feel a sense of accomplishment and pride. We've conquered our fears and come away from the experience feeling stronger and more confident. This is what some researchers refer to as the mastery hypothesis. Just like we practice fighting in martial arts or learn to ski down increasingly steep slopes, we can learn to face our fears and become less afraid over time. By voluntarily seeking out scary experiences, we can gradually desensitize ourselves to danger and become more comfortable with risk. Consider a young girl who's afraid of dogs. If she never interacts with canines, her fear will likely only grow. But if she spends time with friendly dogs, she'll eventually learn that not all dogs are scary, and she may even become a dog lover herself. Of course, this doesn't mean that everyone becomes fearless. You can still be afraid of dogs or heights or public speaking, no matter how much exposure therapy we undergo. But it does mean that we can learn to manage our fears and become more comfortable with risk. This is why some people seek out the scariest roller coasters or haunted houses. They want to conquer their fears and come away feeling like they can handle anything. Of course, this isn't always easy. Sometimes we do get too scared and have to take a break or opt for a less intense experience. But that's part of the fun. It's like a game of chicken with our fears. We push ourselves to the limit and see how far we can go. And when we win, we feel like $1,000,000. And not everyone is into this kind of thing. Some people hate roller coasters and can't even watch horror movies. But those who do enjoy scary or intense experiences tend to be thrill seekers. And according to some experts, there may be a genetic component to this as well. Studies have found that people who are more sensation-seeking have lower levels of a neurotransmitter called serotonin. Low serotonin levels are also associated with other risk-taking behaviors like drug use and criminal activity. So there may be a biological basis for our desire to seek out scary or thrilling experiences. That said, not all scary or thrilling experiences are created equal. Some people love roller coasters, but hate haunted houses. Others are scared of heights but not of the dark. And some people are totally fine with both. It seems like there are different kinds of thrill seekers, and what scares one person might not scare another at all. At the end of the day, why we seek out scary or dangerous activities is complex and likely varies from person to person. But there are some common themes. Most of us enjoy a good scare because it gives us a chance to test our limits and see how much we can handle. We get a kick out of overcoming our fears and coming away from the experience feeling like we can take on anything. Plus, there may be some evolutionary benefit to experiencing fear in a safe environment. It allows us to assess the risks of a situation without actually putting ourselves in danger. So next time you find yourself screaming at the top of your lungs on a scary roller coaster or hiding under the covers while watching a horror movie, know that you're not alone. And there's a good reason for why we're all scared of the same things. The brain on fear, chemical highs, watching horror movies, visiting haunted places, or listening to scary stories. Why do we willingly put ourselves through these frightening experiences? Today we're going to dive into the psychology and neuroscience behind our fascination with fear. You'll discover why thrilling chills and bone-chilling screams might be more pleasurable than you think. Get ready to uncover the secrets of our innate desire for all things spooky and terrifying. So let's jump right into it. Now, before we explore the reasons behind our love for fear, let's delve into the fascinating ways our bodies react to scary situations. When faced with a frightening experience, our bodies activate the fight, flight, or freeze response. This is an automatic reaction that occurs when we perceive a threat. It involves the release of several key chemicals in our bloodstream. These chemicals play a significant role in how we experience fear and can even trigger feelings of excitement and pleasure. Let's break down these chemical reactions step by step. First, there's dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation. When we encounter a scary situation, our brains release a surge of dopamine, which can create a sense of euphoria or high similar to the feeling we get from engaging in activities we enjoy. This dopamine dump is your body's way of saying, "Pay attention, this is important." By experiencing a sudden increase in dopamine levels, our brains are essentially being rewarded for facing the fear, making us more likely to repeat that behavior in the future. Next, we have endorphins. Endorphins are our body's natural pain relievers and stress reducers. They are released in response to physical exertion, emotional stress, and pain. And guess what? Fear is one of those things that can trigger endorphin production. The rush of endorphins helps to alleviate the negative feelings associated with fear, such as anxiety and tension, creating a sense of well-being and even calmness. Then there's cortisol and adrenaline. Cortisol and adrenaline are two hormones that are released during the fight, flight, or freeze response. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone, and it helps to mobilize our energy stores to deal with the perceived threat. Meanwhile, adrenaline increases our heart rate and blood flow, preparing our bodies for action. These hormones work together to ensure that we are physically and mentally alert in the face of danger. While cortisol and adrenaline are essential for our survival, they also play a role in how we experience fear. The sudden spike in these hormones can create a range of physical sensations, from increased heart rate and sweating to shaking and chills. These physical reactions are our body's way of helping us to prepare for and cope with the perceived threat. However, it's important to note that while these hormones are released in response to fear, their levels don't remain high throughout the entire experience. Instead, they peak and then drop once the perceived threat has passed. This drop in hormone levels, particularly a sudden decrease in cortisol and adrenaline, can contribute to the feeling of relief and even euphoria that we sometimes experience after a scary event. This relief can be so intense that it produces a pleasurable sensation, which might be one of the reasons why we seek out these experiences. Finally, we have the neurotransmitter serotonin. Serotonin is associated with mood regulation, happiness, and well-being. While not directly linked to the fight, flight, or freeze response, serotonin plays a role in our overall experience of fear. When we successfully confront a fear or anxiety-inducing situation, our brains release serotonin, contributing to a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. This surge in serotonin reinforces the rewarding aspect of facing our fears and encourages us to take on similar challenges in the future. In essence, our bodies react to fear with a complex interplay of chemical signals that not only help us cope with perceived threats, but also create a range of sensations and emotions, from the exhilarating rush of dopamine to the soothing release of endorphins. These chemicals play a crucial role in our experience of fear and can even make it an enjoyable and thrilling experience. Understanding these reactions can shed light on why we might actively seek out frightening situations and experiences, as well as the potential benefits of confronting our fears. So why do we love watching horror movies? To answer this question, let's explore a few theories. First up, we have the seeker and the thrill seeker. According to this theory, some individuals have a natural inclination towards risk-taking and sensation-seeking behaviors. These thrill seekers often have a higher tolerance for fear and uncertainty. They actively seek out experiences that provide them with a sense of excitement and adventure. For these individuals, horror movies serve as a safe and controlled environment to experience these sensations without any real danger. Moving on, we have the sensation seeker. Some people love the physical sensations that accompany fear. The racing heartbeat, the chills down the spine, the sweaty palms, it's all part of the excitement. They crave the adrenaline rush and the heightened state of arousal that comes with watching a scary movie. For many, it's the ultimate test of their bravery, and they relish the challenge. Next, we have those who are fascinated by the macabre. For some, an interest in death, violence, or other disturbing themes is simply a curiosity. They want to understand what scares people and what goes on in the minds of killers or those who engage in risky behavior. They may not necessarily enjoy the fear itself, but they're intrigued by the subject matter and want to learn more about it. Some people love watching horror movies because they offer a temporary escape from reality. Getting lost in a scary story allows them to immerse themselves in a different world and forget about their own problems. It's a form of escapism that provides a thrilling distraction from the mundane aspects of everyday life. For others, watching horror movies is a social bonding experience. Going to the cinema with friends to watch a scary movie can create a sense of camaraderie and shared excitement. It's a chance to bond with friends over a common fear and talk about it afterwards. Some people even enjoy the idea of scaring their friends and seeing how they react. Then we have those who are desensitized to violence or fear. Individuals who have experienced traumatic events or lived in highly stressful environments may become accustomed to the sights and sounds of violence. Over time, this exposure can lead to a desensitized state, where they no longer find horror movies as shocking or upsetting. Someone who hasn't experienced similar situations. For them, it's just another story, and they can watch it without feeling the same level of fear or discomfort. Lastly, some people simply enjoy being scared. They like the feeling of fear and will actively seek it out. These individuals may have a condition called benign masochism, which means they enjoy experiences that are physically or psychologically uncomfortable. They may find satisfaction in confronting their fears and pushing themselves beyond their limits. But what exactly is benign masochism, and why do some people enjoy scary movies? Benign masochism is a psychological phenomenon in which individuals derive pleasure from pain, fear, or anxiety. It may sound strange, but it is a real and well-documented phenomenon that can manifest in various forms. In the context of horror movies, benign masochism can explain why some people actively seek out terrifying experiences. These individuals are drawn to the fear and excitement that these experiences provide, and they enjoy the physical and psychological sensations that accompany it. It's not that they enjoy pain or suffering, but rather the controlled and temporary nature of these experiences in a safe environment. They are aware of the artificiality of the horror movie and understand that they are not in real danger. Therefore, they can fully embrace the fear and excitement without any genuine risk. For some, it's a form of self-challenge and a way to confront their fears head-on. Others may find it arousing and stimulating, while still others enjoy the physical sensations that come with fear, such as the increased heart rate and adrenaline rush. So why do we love the shivers down our spine, the heart-pounding rush of a horror film, or the unsettling silence of a haunted house? It seems counterintuitive, yet we actively seek out experiences that terrify us. Well, it turns out there's a deep-rooted, almost primal reason for this strange attraction. Our fascination with fear is intricately linked to the way our bodies react to scary situations. From the dopamine dump to the endorphin rush, our brains are hardwired to seek out and reward experiences that activate our fight, flight, or freeze response. This response, triggered by perceived threats, releases a cocktail of chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline, which create both fear and excitement. As these hormones surge through our systems, they not only help us cope with danger, but also produce a range of physical sensations that can be euphoric or even pleasurable. Moreover, our brains reward us with a surge of serotonin after we successfully confront our fears, creating a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. This intricate interplay of chemicals makes fear not just a negative experience, but also a thrilling and exciting one. Mastering the monster. Psychological benefits. The heart-pounding rush of a horror film, or the unsettling silence of a haunted house. It seems counterintuitive, yet we actively seek out experiences that terrify us. What if I told you there's a deep-rooted, almost primal reason for this strange attraction? Imagine standing in line for a roller coaster, the one with the upside-down loops and steep drops. As you approach the front, your heart races. Your palms are sweaty, and your stomach does a flip-flop. Then it hits you, the exhilarating rush of adrenaline, as you plunge down the first drop. You scream, you laugh, you experience pure, unadulterated joy. Afterwards, you want to do it again and again. Why? Because even though the roller coaster simulates a terrifying experience, a near-death scenario, you feel alive. And when you're alive, you feel fully present in the moment. You're not thinking about work deadlines or household chores. You're simply experiencing the thrill of the ride. Psychologists have long pondered this human behavior, why we revel in fear, and they've come up with some fascinating theories. So let's dive into the psychology of fear and find out why we love those spine-chilling experiences. Now, before we delve into the heart of the matter, allow me to ask you a question. When was the last time you did something that terrified you just a little bit? Did you go on a solo backpacking trip? Did you perform in front of a large audience? Did you start a difficult conversation with someone you care about? I'd love to hear about it in the comments section below. Perhaps sharing your experiences will help others realize they're not alone in seeking these kinds of challenges. Diving deep into the psyche, why do we voluntarily seek out situations that trigger fear and anxiety? The answer, according to psychologists, lies in the unique blend of our brain's primal instincts and our cognitive understanding of the world around us. One of the most prominent theories is the so-called mismatch theory proposed by neuroscientist Paul W. MacLean. He suggested that our brains contain two distinct yet interconnected systems, the new and the old. Our old brain is all about survival, programmed to react instantly to perceived threats. Picture it as your internal alarm system. If it perceives danger, it triggers the fight, flight, or freeze response, prepping your body to confront the threat, escape from it, or in some cases, play dead and hope for the best. Now, our new brain, on the other hand, is more sophisticated. It can analyze situations, predict outcomes, and make calculated decisions. Essentially, it sets the part of our brain that allows us to plan ahead and avoid dangerous situations, rather than just reacting instinctively. The mismatch theory posits that many of our modern-day fears are triggered by harmless stimuli due to an oversensitive old brain. Take, for instance, public speaking. To our primitive brain, it's akin to being in the spotlight, a potential life or death situation. After all, our ancestors who couldn't anticipate and manage social situations might have been ostracized, leaving them without the support of their community, a true survival threat. Our modern-day brains, however, have evolved to understand that public speaking, while challenging, is rarely life-threatening. But the mismatch between the two systems creates a fascinating psychological dynamic. Our new brain knows the actual risk is low, but the old brain doesn't, and so the anxiety persists. But why do we seek out these situations? According to mismatch theory, confronting these fears in a safe environment allows us to regain control over our primal brain. By mastering the monster, we build resilience and coping mechanisms that stay with us. This is much like how we train our bodies to build muscle and endurance. Facing simulated threats in a controlled environment helps us strengthen our mental and emotional muscles, making us better equipped to handle real-life challenges. Think about it. If you've conquered your fear of heights by going on a zipline adventure, you'll likely feel more confident scaling a rock wall or taking a mountaineering course. Each experience builds upon the last, creating a ripple effect of increased confidence and reduced anxiety. This leads us to another compelling reason why we might seek out scary experiences: the satisfaction of overcoming fear. When we face our fears and prevail, it gives us a sense of accomplishment and increased self-efficacy. We realize we're more capable than we thought. We learn that we don't need to run away or hide from our problems. Instead, we can confront them head-on. This newfound sense of empowerment can spill over into other areas of our lives, motivating us to tackle challenges we might have shied away from before. Take, for example, someone who decides to confront their fear of public speaking by joining a public speaking club. As they gain experience speaking in front of smaller groups, their confidence grows. They might start to apply this newfound confidence in other aspects of their life. They might be more vocal about their opinions in team meetings at work or become a mentor, guiding others through challenging situations. It's a domino effect. Facing one fear can trigger a cascade of positive change, helping us overcome other fears and boosting our self-confidence in the process. But it's not just about facing our fears. Sometimes we also seek out scary experiences because they offer a unique opportunity to process our anxieties in a safe, controlled environment. Psychotherapist Irvin D. Yalom termed this the grievous error of being alive. He argued that sometimes our greatest fears are not about external threats, but about our own mortality and the fragility of life. We all grapple with the reality of our own mortality, a fact that can be both terrifying and humbling. The knowledge that our time is limited can bring up a myriad of emotions: fear, anxiety, sadness, and even anger. It's a heavy burden to bear, which is why we often try to push these thoughts out of our minds, burying them deep within. However, these emotions don't just vanish. They resurface in our dreams, our worries, and sometimes in our waking hours. That's where scary experiences come in. They provide a safe space to confront these buried emotions. In a controlled environment, we can explore our deepest fears and anxieties without the risk of real-world consequences. Take, for instance, the popularity of horror movies. Why do we willingly immerse ourselves in stories filled with death, violence, and the unknown? Perhaps it's because we're subconsciously trying to process our fears about mortality, loss, and the mysteries of the afterlife. Horror movies allow us to confront these fears in a safe environment, helping us better understand and manage them in our everyday lives. Similarly, haunted houses, graveyards, and even ghost tours become intriguing destinations. They offer a chance to confront our fears of the supernatural and the afterlife head-on. By exploring these seemingly haunted places, we're not just seeking thrills. We're also attempting to understand, and perhaps even come to terms with our own mortality. It's a way to grapple with the inevitable, to acknowledge the reality of death and our own impermanence. And while that might sound depressing, it's actually quite liberating. By confronting our fears, we regain a sense of control in an unpredictable world. Moreover, these experiences can foster a profound appreciation for life. When we're confronted with the possibility of our own demise, however temporarily, it puts our everyday worries into perspective. A bad day at the office or a missed dinner with friends suddenly doesn't seem that significant anymore. It reminds us to cherish the moments we have, to appreciate the people in our lives, and to find joy in the present. It's a powerful lesson, one that we might forget in the hustle and bustle of daily living. So the next time you find yourself drawn to a scary movie, a haunted house, or any other spine-chilling experience, ask yourself, what am I hoping to gain from this? Are you seeking the thrill of the unknown, the satisfaction of conquering fear, or perhaps a deeper understanding of your own mortality? Whatever your reasons, know that you're not alone. We're all, in our own ways, seeking to understand and master the monsters that reside within us and outside of us. In conclusion, our fascination with scary experiences is deeply rooted in our psychology. From confronting primal fears in a safe environment to processing complex emotions like mortality and loss, these experiences offer us a unique opportunity for growth and self-discovery. They challenge us, frighten us, but ultimately help us become more resilient, compassionate, and appreciative individuals. So the next time you find yourself seeking out a good scare, embrace it. It's not just a journey into the unknown. It's a journey inward, a chance to better understand yourself and the world around you. The anticipation builds, your heart pounds in your chest, and then it happens. A sudden jolt, a surprise that makes you gasp. We all love those shivers down our spine, the heart-pounding rush of a horror film. The unsettling silence of a haunted house, the unexpected twist in a scary story. But why do we crave these spine-tingling moments? Why do we put ourselves through the ringer when we know we don't like being scared? This may seem like a simple question, but its answer reveals a fascinating journey into the depths of our psychology. So why do we humans love to be terrified? And how does understanding this phenomenon shed light on the complexities of our minds? Let's explore together. In today's episode, we will delve into the psychological puzzle of why we humans love to be scared. Through the lens of psychology, we'll uncover the intriguing reasons behind our fascination with fear. From the thrill of survival to the power of storytelling, are you ready to face your fears with us and confront the unsettling truths that might just explain our love for all things spooky? So turn off the lights, lock the door, and let's dive into this chilling exploration. Why we seek out frightening experiences. We are naturally wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. So why then do we willingly subject ourselves to experiences that evoke fear and discomfort? In confronting our primal instincts, we find an explanation. The fundamental reason for our attraction to frightening experiences lies in our innate curiosity about survival. Humans have evolved to be naturally cautious, always assessing potential threats in their environment. When we encounter situations that trigger our fight, flight, or freeze response, our body releases a surge of adrenaline and other stress hormones. This reaction prepares us to confront danger head-on or escape from a perceived threat. However, in safe and controlled environments like a horror movie theater, a haunted house, or escape room, we can experience the physiological sensations associated with danger without actual physical harm. This allows us to satisfy our innate curiosity about survival without risking our well-being. By voluntarily seeking out these thrilling experiences, we get to safely test our limits and explore the boundaries of our own endurance. Moreover, by confronting our fears in a controlled setting, we can learn to manage our anxiety and build resilience for real-life challenges. So our attraction to frightening experiences is rooted in our natural drive to understand and overcome the unknown, offering us a safe way to confront our primal fears and build mental fortitude. Social spookiness. The shared experience. Another key factor contributing to our enjoyment of scary content is the element of social connectedness. Humans are social creatures who thrive on shared experiences and connecting with others. When we face frightening situations together, we create a sense of camaraderie and bonding with our fellow experience seekers. In a study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, researchers found that individuals who watched a scary movie with others reported feeling more connected to their companions afterward than those who watched the movie alone. The intensity of the shared experience, including jump scares and suspenseful moments, fostered closer relationships among participants. Furthermore, the study revealed that the anticipation of the frightening experience was crucial in strengthening social bonds. Simply discussing upcoming scary events with others led to increased feelings of closeness, regardless of whether the events had been experienced together or not. These findings highlight the significant impact of shared emotional experiences on social connections. Engaging in spooky activities like visiting haunted houses, escape rooms, or even watching horror movies with friends and family creates lasting memories and strengthens bonds within our social groups. The element of surprise and uncertainty inherent in these experiences contributes to the creation of memorable moments that we can reminisce about and share with others. Additionally, the release of endorphins and other feel-good hormones during these experiences further enhances the positive social and emotional outcomes, leaving us not only with a sense of relief, but also with a deeper connection to those we shared it with. Mastery and control. Our desire to master and control our environment is fundamental to human nature. When faced with uncertainty and potential danger, we naturally want to regain a sense of control. Participating in activities like escape rooms or haunted houses allows us to exercise our problem-solving skills and navigate complex situations, providing a sense of mastery over our surroundings. By successfully completing these tasks, we experience a surge of confidence and self-efficacy, which further motivates us to seek out similar challenges. Additionally, these experiences often involve elements of surprise and unpredictability, which tap into our innate curiosity and desire for novelty. The challenge of anticipating and adapting to unexpected events keeps our minds engaged and stimulates our curiosity, making the experience all the more thrilling. By confronting and overcoming these uncertainties, we reaffirm our ability to navigate complex situations, boosting our confidence and problem-solving skills. Furthermore, the element of storytelling present in many scary narratives provides a sense of context and meaning to the frightening situations we encounter. By understanding the motivations and actions of characters, we can better predict outcomes and feel a sense of control over the unfolding events. This sense of narrative mastery allows us to engage with the story more deeply, enhancing our overall experience and appreciation for the craftsmanship involved in creating such intricate narratives. The thrill of anticipation. The excitement and anticipation leading up to a frightening experience play a significant role in our enjoyment of scary content, according to the Yerkes-Dodson law, a principle in psychology that explains the relationship between arousal and performance. Moderate levels of physiological or mental stimulation can enhance our performance and enjoyment of tasks or activities. In the context of scary content, this means that the anticipation and buildup of fear can significantly impact our overall experience. When we know that something scary is coming, our bodies prepare for a heightened state of arousal, releasing adrenaline and other hormones that increase our heart rate and sharpen our senses. This physiological response creates a sense of excitement and anticipation, making the scary content more enjoyable rather than simply terrifying. Moreover, the element of surprise and uncertainty inherent in scary stories keeps our minds engaged and stimulates our curiosity. Not knowing what might happen next creates a sense of anticipation that drives us to continue experiencing the story or activity. This element of surprise and the resulting cognitive and emotional engagement contribute to the overall appeal of scary content. By understanding the psychological mechanisms at play, we can appreciate how the anticipation and buildup of fear can enhance our enjoyment of spin-dinging experiences. Facing our fears, facing ourselves, one of the most compelling reasons for our attraction to frightening experiences is the opportunity to confront our deepest fears and weaknesses. By voluntarily seeking out scary content, we can face our anxieties head-on and work towards overcoming them. When we encounter our fears in a safe and controlled environment, like a horror movie or a haunted house, we can learn to manage our anxiety and develop coping mechanisms. This process of facing and managing our fears can be incredibly empowering, helping us to gain a sense of control over our emotions and reactions. Additionally, engaging with scary content can help us to process and work through unresolved emotional issues or traumas that may be related to our fears. By confronting these fears in a symbolic or fictional setting, we can gain insight into our own psyche and better understand the root causes of our anxieties. This journey of self-discovery and healing can be incredibly cathartic, allowing us to release pent-up emotions and move forward in our personal growth. Furthermore, the element of storytelling prevalent in many scary narratives provides a framework for exploring complex emotions and experiences. By identifying with characters who face similar fears and challenges as our own, we can better understand and process our own emotions. The resolution of these stories can offer hope and guidance, showing us how others have overcome similar fears and emerged stronger on the other side. Conclusion. In conclusion, our fascination with frightening experiences is a multifaceted phenomenon rooted in our innate curiosity about survival, desire for social connection, need for mastery and control, and the thrill of anticipation. By seeking out scary content, we voluntarily confront our primal fears in a safe environment, gaining a sense of mastery and control over our emotions and reactions. Additionally, engaging with scary content can help us process unresolved emotional issues and traumas, fostering self-discovery and personal growth. The element of storytelling in scary narratives allows us to explore complex emotions and experiences, providing context, meaning, and often resolution to the frightening situations we encounter. Understanding these psychological factors sheds light on why we willingly seek out experiences that trigger fear and highlights the complex interplay between our minds and the experiences we choose to seek. So the next time you find yourself craving a good scare, know that you're not alone. Embrace the shiver down your spine and the racing of your heart as you explore the fascinating world of fear and its profound impact on the human experience. Do you agree with the points we made in this video? What are some of your favorite horror movies or scary experiences? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. And remember, sometimes the scariest things are the ones we keep inside. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the depths of human psychology. Beyond the Scream, Future of Fear and Fun, we watched had a twist ending that made the last 2 hours completely irrelevant. All those jump scares, all that build-up, forgotten in an instant. It would be frustrating, right? What if that sudden swerve wasn't a mistake, a cheat to make the story seem cleverer than it is, but an essential part of the narrative? Nice. What if the real point of horror isn't the scares at all, but what happens after? What if the biggest chills are saved for the end? Hi, I'm here to introduce you to this channel. And today, let's explore some of the potential futures of fear. These terrifying tales will leave you questioning the boundaries of fright and fun. So buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through the evolution of scaring the living daylights out of people. What's the secret behind our fascination with fear? Why do we crave the shivers down our spine, the heart-pounding rush of a horror film, or the unsettling silence of a haunted house? It seems counterintuitive. You'd think we'd avoid anything that terrified us, yet we actively seek out these experiences. Well, I have a theory. I believe our attraction to fear lies in the unique challenge it presents, a test of our resilience, a way to confront and conquer our deepest anxieties. We're naturally curious about the unknown, and fear taps into that curiosity by offering a glimpse into the darkness that might lurk within and around us. When we face our fears head-on, we gain a sense of control over them. By voluntarily entering a haunted house or watching a scary movie, we're choosing to confront what scares us. This act of courage allows us to understand and potentially overcome our fears, making us feel more resilient and better equipped to handle whatever challenges life throws our way. It's like a mental workout, strengthening our resolve and expanding our comfort zones. Facing our fears can also help us appreciate the present moment even more. When we survive a terrifying experience, we often emerge with a newfound gratitude for our safety and well-being. It's a reminder of our fragility and the preciousness of life. We cherish the people and things we love even more, realizing that they could be taken away in an instant. As humans, we're storytellers at heart. And when it comes to fear, we've created some truly terrifying tales throughout history. From ancient myths to modern-day horror flicks, stories about monsters under the bed, ghosts in the closet, and creatures in the shadows have been keeping us up at night for centuries. But why do we find such pleasure in these frightening narratives? Let's start with the obvious. Fear is exciting. It gives us a thrill. And what's more thrilling than facing danger from the safety of our own homes? Horror stories allow us to experience the rush of adrenaline without any real risk. It's like riding a roller coaster, but with scares instead of drops. But there's more to our fascination with fear than just a good scare. When we hear a scary story, our imagination kicks into gear, creating vivid images in our minds of the horrors being described. This active engagement with the story helps exercise our imaginative muscles, which is a uniquely human trait. It's a testament to our cognitive abilities and our capacity for empathy and understanding. Additionally, horror stories often explore the darker aspects of human nature and the things we might find unsettling or disturbing. By confronting these fears and disturbing thoughts in a safe environment, we can process and come to terms with them, making us feel more sane and less alone. It's like a kind of emotional detox, allowing us to purge our minds of the darkness that might otherwise fester and grow. Beyond the cathartic release of facing our fears, horror stories also offer us a chance to learn and grow. They expose us to situations and circumstances we may not encounter in our everyday lives, expanding our understanding of the world and the possibilities within it. By confronting these fears and uncertainties, we become more adaptable and better equipped to handle whatever challenges may come our way. In a world that's constantly changing and evolving, this adaptability is a valuable asset, helping us navigate the unknown with greater confidence and resilience. In the realm of virtual reality, where technology blurs the lines between the digital world and our own, there's a new frontier of fear emerging. Enter VR horror, a genre that takes the thrill of virtual adventures to a whole new level. Imagine finding yourself trapped in a haunted house, exploring a creepy, abandoned asylum, or even coming face to face with your worst fears, all from the comfort of your own home. That's what VR horror offers. And it's no surprise that this immersive genre is gaining popularity. At its core, VR horror plays on our natural fears and phobias. Whether it's claustrophobia, fear of the dark, or a primal dread of the unknown, these are emotions that resonate deeply within us. When we find ourselves in a virtual environment that taps into these fears, it triggers a response that feels all too real. Our heart rates elevate, our palms sweat, and we're on the edge of our seats, unsure of what might lurk around the corner or just beyond our field of vision. However, while the thrills and chills of VR horror are undeniable, it's important to consider the ethical implications of this immersive experience. Pushing the boundaries of fear can be a fine line to walk. While some may find it exhilarating to confront their fears in a virtual setting, others might find it distressing or even traumatizing. It's crucial for developers and users alike to be mindful of this and ensure that VR horror experiences are designed and consumed responsibly. Striking a balance between providing a thrilling escape and respecting the psychological well-being of users is a challenge that VR horror must address as it continues to evolve. Only then can we fully embrace the terrifying potential of this immersive medium without crossing the line into dangerous and unethical territory. Another intriguing development in the world of fear is the rise of interactive theater. As the name suggests, this genre of performance blurs the lines between traditional theater and audience participation, creating a unique and immersive experience that leaves audiences on the edge of their seats. Forget passive spectatorship. Interactive theater thrusts us into the action, forcing us to make decisions that directly impact the story's outcome. We might find ourselves caught in a thrilling mystery, a heart-pounding chase, or even a terrifying supernatural encounter. And the choices we make along the way determine whether our characters live or die. But why are we drawn to this new form of entertainment? The answer lies in our innate desire for agency and control in a world that often feels unpredictable and chaotic. Interactive theater offers us a rare opportunity to step out of our everyday lives and into a world where we hold the reins of the story. It's a chance to be an active participant rather than a passive observer, to shape the narrative and determine the fate of the characters. This sense of empowerment is particularly appealing in times of uncertainty and upheaval, as it provides us with a temporary escape from the chaos of the outside world. The increasing popularity of interactive theater also reflects our growing appetite for immersive experiences. In a world where everything is just a click away, we're constantly bombarded with visual stimuli and short-form content. This has trained us to seek out immediate gratification and instant feedback. Interactive theater satisfies this craving by pulling us into a world where we're not just consuming content, but actively engaging with it. The immediacy and interactivity of this format make for a memorable and exhilarating experience that leaves us wanting more. Our fascination with fear isn't just about seeking thrills or confronting our anxieties. It's also about embracing the power of stories and shared experiences. Whether it's around a campfire or in the darkness of a movie theater, horror and suspense bring us together, creating a sense of community and bonding. The social aspect of fear adds another layer to our enjoyment, making it a truly unique and multifaceted phenomenon. So the next time you find yourself huddled around someone telling ghost stories, remember that you're not just seeking a good scare. You're participating in a timeless tradition that has brought people together for centuries. The power of fear lies not only in its ability to terrify, but also in its capacity to connect us to each other in a world that often feels increasingly divided. As technology continues to advance and our world evolves, who knows what new forms of fear and fascination will emerge? Maybe one day we'll find ourselves stepping into virtual worlds that simulate the most terrifying scenarios imaginable. It's all in the name of fun and entertainment. But whatever the future holds, one thing remains constant: our innate curiosity about the unknown and our desire to confront our fears head-on. After all, it's in facing our fears that we truly learn about ourselves, our limits, and our capacity for resilience. So embrace the shivers down your spine, the pounding heart, and the unsettling silence. For in the realm of fear, there's beauty to be found in the darkness that lies within and around us.